Hello and welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert, and it's my pleasure to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. In the world of hospitality, some of the most critical work happens while the guests and most of the staff are asleep. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the night audit and really explore why this role is so much less about accounting and so much more about being the communication hub for the entire hotel operation. You know, when most people think of a night audit, they probably picture someone quietly crunching numbers in a back office. And sure, that's part of it, but its true purpose is so much more dynamic. At its very heart, the night audit is a communication role. It's that critical handover of information that truly sets the stage for the next day's success. It's where the numbers really find their voice. So for today's briefing, we're going to break this all down into 5 key areas. We'll look at how this goes way beyond just the final numbers, why accuracy is the absolute bedrock of trust, and how a truly skilled auditor can turn raw data into actionable intelligence for the entire hotel. We'll also cover the hotel's information network and why timeliness is absolutely critical. Okay, so let's get right into it. The very first thing you need to grasp is that those final reports, they aren't the end product. Not at all. Think of them as the tools that lead to the real product, which is enabling your management team to make clear, efficient, and really well-informed decisions. So you should really think of the night auditor less like a bookkeeper and more like an interpreter. Their job isn't just to compile and verify data, it's to present all of this complex information, both financial and operational, in a way that your managers can look at, immediately understand, and then act on. They're basically the first line of business intelligence for the entire day ahead. Okay, let's move on to our second point. And honestly, this is the absolute foundation for everything else we're going to talk about: accuracy. Because without it, the whole system just, well, it breaks down. You see, unclear data isn't just confusing, it directly leads to bad, flawed decisions from your management team. And when we talk about clarity, we mean more than just making sure the numbers add up. It means the report has to be complete. It has to be consistent across every single section. And this is so important. Any discrepancies, any variances, they have to be clearly explained. A really great auditor's job is to get ahead of the questions and prevent any misunderstandings before they even have a chance to start. This is where we get into the real art of the night audit. It's all about translating that raw data into something meaningful, into real insights. It's just not enough to say, hey, there's a variance here. A truly skilled auditor explains the why behind that number. They add the essential operational context that makes the data useful. So how do you do that? Well, it's a clear process. First, you spot the mismatch. Then you dig in and investigate what caused it. And here's the key part. You provide a brief, clear explanation. Let's say you see a big variance in restaurant revenue. A basic report just points out the number. But an insightful report adds a note, something like, variance due to a private event running late, charges were posted after the cutoff. See? That turns a question mark into a solved problem. And of course, this communication goes way beyond the financials. The night auditor is literally the eyes and ears of the entire hotel overnight, so noting down things like guest incidents or a maintenance issue like a leaky faucet in room 305, or any security observations, all of that is absolutely crucial. It creates a seamless handover so the morning team can walk in, be fully briefed, and get right to work. All right, this brings us to point number 4, and it's a big one. You have to remember that the audit report is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It's really a package of information that goes out to a whole network of leaders in the hotel. And guess what? They all care about different things. A skilled auditor gets this. You have to know your audience. Your finance team, they're laser-focused on revenue accuracy. Their front office manager, they need those occupancy stats to plan out the day's staffing and arrivals. The F&B manager, they're going to be comparing your outlet totals directly against their own point-of-sale reports. And the general manager, they need that bird's eye view, that high-level summary of the overall performance and any major variances. When you tailor your summaries for each of these people, you make sure the information isn't just seen, it's understood, and most importantly, it's used. Okay, finally, let's talk about our 5th and, you could argue, most critical element: time. In the hotel world, everything is fast-paced. Information has a shelf life and an expiration date. Getting those reports out promptly isn't just a courtesy, it's an absolute operational necessity. So I want you to really think about this question. What is the real cost of a delayed audit report? What actually happens when that morning report doesn't show up on time? Because the consequences, they can ripple through the entire day's operation.
Think about it. A delay immediately disrupts your morning staffing plans. It can slow down breakfast operations. Your revenue manager might be making strategy decisions based on old, flawed information. All of the daily scheduling gets thrown off. At the end of the day, the real cost of a late report is spending the entire day reacting to problems instead of proactively managing your business.
And this all comes down to being proactive. Let's say you find a major issue, a big discrepancy, and you just can't resolve it during your shift. The absolute worst thing you can do is sit on it and wait. The professional standard is to communicate that problem immediately. That kind of transparency doesn't show weakness, it builds trust. It lets the entire management team get a head start on solving the problem first thing in the morning.
So, as we walk through today, you can see how every single part of the night audit, from making sure it's accurate to adding context to tailoring the message and getting it out on time, it's all an act of communication. And when it's done well, it does more than just make the morning run smoothly. It strengthens the entire operational and, of course, financial foundation of the hotel. So, the takeaway here is simple. The next time you think about the night audit, I want you to remember this. The best night auditors don't just close the day's books. They're actually the ones who open the door for the next day's success. Their work isn't about finishing yesterday. It's about giving the entire team the clarity and the intelligence they need to win tomorrow.